You guys don't know it yet, but it's been like 7 hours since that last clip that you guys just saw. That one was like at noon or something, and it's about to be like 7, or already is 7. I'm not too sure, but let me tell you guys. Jade is getting into her little house, and it's funny. I wish I could read. Why can't you like turn the camera around? Here, hang on. She is really struggling. You got it, Jade. There you go. Good job. She loves that little house. Okay, guys. So, yeah. So let me tell you guys. I had to put Jade to bed because she was being super cranky because she didn't have a double nap. And you guys, excuse my acne. It looks really bad. Like, I don't know if you guys can really tell how bad it is. I used a different foundation yesterday, and this just happened overnight. My skin is super sensitive. I have them all over my forehead too. See? And like, it was the one that I don't normally use. Like, that one was like just there, and it was either already old or my skin just does not like that foundation. So it's on my chin too. So just ignore it, okay? It happens to all of us. But anyway, so today I went to go pick up my debit card from Mashed because I left it there yesterday when I went to go have lunch with the girls. I hate doing that. Like, I hate forgetting my debit card. It's like the second time I do it. And then so I did that, and then I had to go to Target to get Jade some night diapers because we were out, and then exchange a little sweater that she got 2 of for her birthday. And then I had to meet Jeff at 3:30 because we had a meeting. So then I did all of that, and in between doing all of that, I tried to film this labor and delivery story for you guys twice. The first time, my phone kept falling over because I was in the car, and I just got frustrated and I stopped. And then the second time, because I was like, I'll just film it at the Target parking lot, whatever. And then the second time, for some reason, I'm just making sure Jade's not crying. The second time, for some reason, like, some of the audio was like in and out. It was just dumb, okay? So then I was like, I'll just have to like redo it again. And now I'm like laying down, chilling. I put Jade to bed. Jeff's not here. He's working, but he's on his way home. And I'm have quiet, and I can just chill and tell you guys everything, okay? So I'm just gonna start from the beginning, like when I thought I was, like from the very beginning when I thought I was going to have Jade already, and then just go on to after, okay? So, and I'm gonna try to do this as fast as I can. I'm already at 2 minutes right now, and it's just going to be a long video. Okay, so Jade's original due date was January 5th, according to like all of the tracking and everything, right? And then as time progressed, she said, no, I think it's gonna be like a week or two before. She was like, if I had to guess, I'd say maybe the week of Christmas. So I was like, okay, cool. So then on the 23rd, this was, okay, so the first time that I ever experienced anything that had anything to do with labor was the 23rd. The 23rd, I was going to be part of a wedding. And then I didn't know if I wanted to go or not, just because I was like already miserable. Like, you guys know that at the end is the worst. Like, I wasn't sleeping, everything hurt. I was already like having contractions, and just like I was so swollen. It was just the worst, right? But I was like, no, like I have to go. So I was like, I'll go even if it's just for like a little bit. Like, I'm gonna go. So then we went, and everything was fine, and we danced 2 songs because Jeff's like, maybe let's just try to get her out, you know? So we were dancing, and then I think we just danced 2 songs. Hi, Whiskerina. And then we came home, and I swear to you guys, like the second I sat down to take off my shoes, I felt like I had like I felt warm, like I peed myself. And I was like, did I just pee myself? And I was like, no, I didn't pee myself. But then my dress had like a wet mark. And I was like, what the heck? And then so I told Jeff, I'm like, Jeff, I don't know, but I think my water just broke. But it wasn't like a lot, you know? And I was like freaking out. And I texted my sister-in-law because she was the one that was pregnant with me. And then she already had one. So I'm like, dude, like, this just happened. What do you think? And then so she was just asking me questions. And she's like, but if you're not sure, like, go to the hospital and they can check for you. And because I knew that, like, when your water breaks, you have to, ow. Let me take off my hair because it's, like, hurting me. When your water breaks, you have to go in because you don't want to leave the baby without fluids or whatever. And so I told Jeff, and he's like, yeah, let's just go and just to be safe. So we went and they checked, and no, like, it wasn't my water. And I'm like, that's so weird because, like, I felt the water, right? And then I saw the watermark on my dress. And then whenever I like went to the restroom to sit over the toilet and I wiped. By the way, this is going to be a TMI, okay? Just TMI. And I wiped and there was like something on my thing, which I was like, I guess that was my plug, you know, my plug. And then so yeah, so we came home and that was the 23rd. So then the next day was Christmas Eve. So we did regular Christmas Eve activities and everything. And then the next day was the 25th, which was Christmas Day. And we were just doing Christmas Day activities too. Sorry, like, I'm not liking my hair like that. And then, yeah, so the 25th, last year I think was a Sunday. It was like Christmas Eve was Saturday and then Christmas Day was Sunday. And then so the next day was going to be Monday. And so that meant that Jeff was going to go back to work. So then Jeff got ready for bed, you know, he showered and everything and went to bed. And then I stayed up later. I always stay up later than Jeff. Like, by the time I'm out of the shower most days, he's already asleep. So I took a shower and I came out and he was already asleep. But I noticed that during the day that my contractions were like a little stronger, right? During the day. I don't know why my hair's so itchy. I think it's because it's dirty. And then at night, they got even stronger. So that whole night, I didn't sleep because of my contractions. And my doctor had told me to go into the hospital, like it was baby time, when my contractions were 8 minutes apart for 3 hours. So I had like a contraction app on my phone. And I was timing them all night, guys. And my contractions were 2 minutes apart. Like, every 2 minutes, I was having a contraction. So I was kind of like, oh, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I should go in. Like, they're 2 minutes apart. They have been 2 minutes apart all night. And so I woke up around 6. I mean, I didn't wake up. I was already up. But Jeff woke up around 6 to get ready to start getting ready for work. Because it's the time that he gets up. And so he was getting ready. And he was, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I think that you should not go to work today. I think that today might be the day. And I had already told him to come home one of the days because I thought it was the day and it wasn't. Because I was just having like super strong contractions and I was like freaking out, right? And then so, sorry. So then he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I think today's the day. And then he's like, okay. So then, so it was like, so I stayed home and I was on my ball. Whiskey, can you not? I was on my ball until about 11. And then at 11, and the contractions were getting like stronger and stronger. Around 11, I told Jeff and I was like, should we go to the hospital? Like, my contractions are pretty strong. And I thought they were strong then, okay? Like, I was like, they're kind of strong, like, and you know? And so we went in, and they checked me in, which takes forever, and you gotta pee in a cup and all that stuff. And so she checked me, and I was a 3, right? I was dilated to a 3. And so she's like, you know what, like, because your contractions are every 2 minutes, she's like, I'm gonna keep you here for an hour, like, walk around, and hopefully, like, you'll dilate some more. And so me and Jeff were walking around for an hour, and then she checked me again, and it was still a 3. And she's like, let's just try 1 more hour. So I walked around for another hour, and she checked me, and I was still a freaking 3, you guys, like, freaking 3. And then so she's like, you know what, like, we can't admit you in until you're a 5. So just go ahead and go home and just labor at home as long as you can. And then she's like, I'm sure we're going to be seeing you back soon, like, later, because you, like, yeah, like, you're in active labor right now. And I was like, okay. So then I came home around maybe like 2 or 3. And then I got in the tub because, guys, I was dying. Like, I felt, sorry, whiskey's moving my hand. You know how, like, when you ask people how do you, like, how it feels, like, I don't know about y'all, but people told me, like, you feel like you're gonna die. Like, you really do feel like you're gonna die. Like, nothing can help you. Like, I remember just, like, being on my ball and crying. Like, I was just crying. And then, like, I would take a couple steps and then have to hold on to the wall because my contractions were every 2 minutes. Like, my contractions stayed every 2 minutes, like, the entire time. And so I came home and I was on my ball, and then I was in and out of the tub. Like, for me, being in the hot water tub was, like, life-changing. Like, if it was the only thing that was kind of sort of working for me up until a certain point. And then after that, I was just in the shower, and I was just like, honestly, guys, I was screaming. Like, I remember I was in the shower, and Jeff would tell me, like, because we spent like another 4 hours at the house, 4 or 5 hours. We went back like around 7. And I remember, like, him telling me, like, let's just go back, let's go back. And I was like, no, because I didn't want to go back and have them tell me that I was still the 3, you know? And so I was like, I'm going to stay, like, here at the house as long as I can, because I hated being in the hospital. It's so uncomfortable, and it's so cold. And I was like, no, I'm just going to stay home. And I remember being in the shower, because just being in the water for some reason just was making me feel better. And I was, like, with my hand like this against my face, like, on the shower wall, and I was screaming. Like, I was like, yeah, no, like, I wanted it to stop, and I wanted it to go away, and it was not going anywhere. Okay, it was only the beginning. And then so it got to a point where Jeff was like, you know what, like, we gotta go. Like, I can't see you like this anymore. Like, when I was on the ball, he was rubbing my back, but thank God, like, I didn't have any back labor. Thank the Lord, because I heard that is, like, the worst. I didn't feel anything on my back. Like, all my contractions were just, like, in the front. And then, yeah, so he's like, that's it. Like, I can't take anymore. Let's just go. So then finally I was like, okay, because he got, like, he was like, he's like, that's it. Like, we're going. And I was like, okay. And then so he was like, let me take a shower one last time. And so I took a shower. I got all my stuff, and then we went back. And then they do the whole check-in thing where you have to pee again. And I was like, you know what? I don't have to pee. Like, I can't pee right now. I literally only ate 1 meal that day. And that was because Jeff was like, you need to eat, because if it is go time, like, you're going to be hungry. And so I had but I was scared. Not gonna, like, I didn't want to eat because I didn't want to, like, I was afraid that I was going to, like, poop my pants, you know? But I had a Subway because I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I need to eat because I am going to be starving. And I'm going to eat right now that I can. So I had a Subway, like, literally, like, after we left the hospital the first time, we stopped and got Subway, and then we came home. Jeff just got home. And then, so then we went back to the hospital, and then, come here, babe. Is that you? Hello?
Hey, it's starting to feel cool outside.
I know, it's super cold. I'm telling the vlog about My labor and delivery story.
Your what?
Labor and delivery story.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So anyway, the nurse that I got the second time,
Straight to sleep?
yeah, I put her down because she needed to go to bed. She was tired. The nurse that I got the second time around was the same nurse that I actually saw on the 23rd. The night that I thought my water broke. And it was she was so nice. Like, so nice. And so I liked her a lot. And so she remembered me. She was like, oh, hey. She's like, I remember you. And so they were monitoring my contractions. And then they were... She checked me. And I'm gonna let you guys guess. I was a 3 still, you guys. Oh my gosh. She's like, you're almost a 4. She's like, but I can tell that you're like, you're definitely in labor. She's like, let me talk to the doctor and see what he says. I was like, this is my second time here. I'm like, I'm dying. Like, you guys need to help me. So she's like, okay. She's like, hang on 1 second. Let me go talk to him. And she was like in and out. Like, she went out and then she came back inside and she's like, you're gonna have a baby today. And so I was like, yes. I literally was like, oh, thank God. Because I was so like, I can't even tell you guys. Like, no podía con mi vida anymore. Like, I couldn't no more. And then so they checked me in, and then they stuck me like a million times because the girl couldn't get the IV going on me, and then she had to call another person, and then they finally did that, and they moved me into the room, and the room was bomb. Like, I'm always gonna go to Baylor. Like, Baylor was the shiz, and like all the nurses were nice and everything. So then they moved me into that room, and then we just waited and waited and waited and waited, and the contractions were still there, and I think at that point I was a 4. I was a 4, and then like time still kept going, and then finally I made it to a 5, and the contractions were still every 2 minutes, and Jeff and his mom was there, and like I was so tired, you guys. Like, at this point it had already been 24 hours, and I was just at a 5. In 24 hours I was a 5, and I was so tired and I was so exhausted. And like, literally the whole time I was pregnant, I told Jeff that I was going to do all natural. Like, I didn't want the epidural because, I don't know, I just felt like I could do it. Like, my body was made for this, you know? So I was like, if I ask for it, like, don't let me do it, ever. And then I asked for it. And then Jeff came up to me and he was like, remember what you said? You said that you didn't want to do it and this and that. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You already know.
And I was like, I looked at him and I was like, Jeff, I know what I said, okay? I was like, but you, like, I'm so tired. Like, I'm like exhausted.
Did you wash this or no?
Yeah, I did.
It don't look like it is.
Oh, I did. I was like, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. Like, I just need it. And then he was like, you know what? Like, yeah, you're right. Like, it's been 24 hours. Like, I couldn't even imagine going through that myself. And so then I asked her, and then she gave it to me. You know, I got it and everything. And it didn't hurt. I didn't feel a thing. I didn't look at it either. Like, I didn't want to. But I didn't feel anything. Like, the only thing I felt was, like, you know, the first time, like, they're like, you're gonna feel something cold go up your back. Like, that was all I felt. And then that was it. Like, but I didn't feel anything else. And then, so once that kicked in, and then I'm gonna tell you guys, because nobody told me that, I mean, I don't know if I was just supposed to, like, assume this or what, but nobody told me that when you get an epidural, that you get a catheter. Like, nobody told me that. So they put a catheter in, and I was kind of freaking out because I used to put catheters in. I used to put catheters in people. And I know what, no, like, I was freaking out, guys. I was scared, but I didn't feel it. I guess because of the epidural or whatever. Because I didn't feel that, but I felt everything else. So I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. So then I'm just sitting there, and I hated having to have gotten the epidural because you're like, from the waist down, you're numb, and you can't move your legs, and you can't do anything. So they come in like every certain amount of hours, and all they do is like, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but Jeff is making a licuado. They'll just switch you from one side to another, like you're helpless, like literally, like you can't do anything for yourself. And then so then that happened, right? And then they broke my water to try to get things going, and so they broke my water. And then I just stayed there, and I was just not progressing, like, at all. So then Jade, I guess, like, she made her way down, like, further in the birth canal, and she was sitting on my bladder, you guys, and she, like, I felt like I really needed to pee. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to pee. Like, I even told her, I'm like, I need to pee. Like, you know, that pain where it just needed to be relieved. Like, it hurt so bad. And I was like, I need to pee. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, you're going to the restroom? And then she showed me, like, the bag that's connected to my catheter. And, like, I was like, what? Like, how? If I feel like I need to go to the like, I need to pee. And she's like, no. She's like, what happens is that she's, like, sitting on your bladder right now. So you have to wait for her to go past that. Oh my gosh, you guys, the longest hours of my life. Seriously, that was the hardest part for me. Just like that feeling that I needed to go. Like, it was so uncomfortable. And then I was just not dilating at all. And then finally they gave me Pitocin, and then that is when stuff got real. Okay, so they gave me the Pitocin, and maybe like 2 or 3 hours later is when I started to feel like I needed to take the biggest poop of my life. I swear to you guys, like I know we've all felt this. You know, sometimes you eat something que no te cae, and you gotta go. Like, you got to go, honey. Like, go. That's what it felt like. And so they, like, sat me. So I told her, I was like, I feel like I need to poop. And she's like, oh, that's good, that's good. So they sat me up, because I was, like, laying down. So they sat me up. They kind of sat me like butterfly, kind of, sort of. And then they're like, try to, like, we're going to try to keep you like that for as long as we can. And I was like, okay. So maybe, like, 15 minutes went by. And I was like, okay, like, I really got to go. Like, I really, really got to go. And then so she came in, and I told her that. I was like, I feel like I really need to, like, push. Like, I gotta go. And she's like, no, like, you're fine. Try to stay there at least for another 2 hours. Otherwise, you're gonna be pushing for 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. Like, the longest that you can stay there, the better. And I was like, like, I felt like I really needed to go. And so I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna try. And then, like, literally, like, max 10 minutes later, I just felt like I wasn't even, like, I could not push. Like I was sitting like that, and then, like, my hands were, like, on the rails. And as soon as and then my contractions were still coming every 2 minutes. And every time I got a contraction was when I got the feeling that I needed to push, right? And so I would feel it coming, and I would be, like, trying to hold it in so bad. But, like, my body was pushing for me. Like, I was trying not to push, and then it was just pushing. And so I told Jeff, I'm like, tell her to, like, call her. Like, I cannot not push. Like, my body is pushing for me without me even trying to push. Like, I'm trying to fight my own body from pushing. I'm like, that's not normal. And then so she comes in again, and I tell her that I really need to push. I'm like, listen, I gotta push, okay? Like, I have to. And so she's like, okay, but I warned you that you're gonna be pushing for 2 hours, and then when it's time to really push, you're gonna be tired, and all this stuff, right? And so she's like, so I'm gonna let you push. She's like, but you need to stop when I tell you to stop, because I can't deliver this baby. I need to call your doctor. And my doctor, her office is across the street from the hospital, so she had to leave, come over, and then get all ready, and then, you know. So I think I did like 2 pushes with the nurse, and she was like, stop. She's like, we have to go call the doctor. So then I had to wait for the doctor to come, and then I gave like 2 more pushes, and Jade was out. She came out. What else? So yeah, so Jeff was not supposed to watch or anything, but because it happened all so fast, like the nurse was like, you grab one leg, and then my mother-in-law grabbed another leg, and so he was part of the process, and he was like telling me like, oh, push, like I can see her. He was like encouraging me. And then, okay, so let me tell you guys about the epidural. So epidural works very differently on everybody, and on me personally, it took away the contractions, but it didn't take the pain away from anything else. Like I'm telling you guys, like I felt her on my bladder. I felt her like coming out. I felt all of that. I felt like after, cause like I got I think a first degree tear. I only got 2 stitches, and I felt those. Okay. And then what else? I think that's about it. Oh, when she went in there to break my water, I felt it all, okay? I felt it all. And so every time they went in there to check me, I felt it. That's the worst. The worst. And then, yeah, so I pushed for like 10 minutes max, and she was out. And then that was it. The longest part was literally like the whole labor part, because I wasn't dilating. But once they finally decided to give me the Pitocin, that's whenever my body got like moving. And then let me tell you guys something, because this is something else that nobody told me. Take a stool softener, okay? Nobody told me. Like, all of y'all are wrong for not telling me that I was supposed to take a stool softener, because when you come home, or I don't know, everybody's different. You might have to go to the restroom while you're still in the hospital. But when you come home and you take that first, like, number 2 after you've given birth, like, that's the worst, okay? Nobody told me. I didn't take a stool softener. So I was in the restroom for, like, 30 minutes crying because it was so extremely painful. So please take a stool softener, like, the day after you give birth or something, because that stuff is no joke, okay? No joke. What else? I think that's about it. I didn't like bleed. TMI. I didn't bleed that long. And I just used those big old pampered pads that they gave me in the hospital. Those were the best. Like, they're like thick and stuff, but literally like they were the best thing, because I bought some other ones, and those were like on like either that or buy like those like grown-up diapers. Like the next go around, I'm gonna stock up on those pads at the hospital and then have those adult diapers, because those other pads just don't cut it. But I bled for like a week or 2. It wasn't that much, like that long. And then, I mean, it was painful, but I was like on Motrin like constantly, so I was fine. Like, it was just kind of like sore. And then I think that's it. Like, really like I came home from the hospital and I was like brooming. Like like I was fine. And but I think I have like a really high pain tolerance, so maybe that's why. But yeah, you guys, like it was one of the hardest times of my life. Even after the epidural, like I'm telling you guys, I felt everything else, and that was rough. Like, my mother-in-law was recording once Jade came out, and like you can hear me in the background, and I'm just like, dang, like I feel sorry for myself. Like, I was in pain. I felt the needle and the thread. I felt it all. But that's about it. I mean, if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and leave them down below. Or if you guys want to share your birth story with me, or if you guys had similar things that happened to you as to me, or, you know, anything, leave it down below. But yeah, that was my labor and delivery story. I was in the hospital more than most just because Jade was born with jaundice, like high jaundice levels. So we stayed there for like I think 3 nights. I think it was 3 nights, and Jeff was hating it. But yeah, you guys, that was it. Like I said, if you guys have any questions or want to know more about anything, I'm already at 30 minutes, and I just try to make it as fast as I could. But go ahead and leave me any questions down below or anything of that sort. If you guys want to share, like I said, anything with me, go ahead and do that too. Thank you for watching day 12 of Vlogmas, which was a story time. I don't know what I'll do tomorrow, but we'll see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you tomorrow for Vlogmas day 13. Bye, guys.